I appreciate you so much. I can't.
Multitask, learn it. Hey, what's up? How are you guys? Good, man, good. A lot of smiling faces. If you're not awake, you will be awake soon, I promise you. No, I don't need any slides. I got some bullet points. You know, Nick's right. I have a ton of experience at this. So I used to do a radio show. I'll get into that in a little bit. But the 2-hour slot, they would just go in, hand me the microphone. They're like, what are you going to talk about today? I was like, I don't know yet. Turn the mic on, let's go. Right? I can fill some content. So I purposely actually wrote something down for you guys today because I wanted to give some purposeful value that I think will resonate well with this audience. So I wanted to give you some, I say it's my gold nuggets, right? There's some diamonds in here, some gold nuggets, and hopefully you guys are ready, right? So I'm going to give you some rubber to the road. There have been a lot of speaking, a lot of great presentations, a lot of it conceptual, but it's practical, right? It's not just conceptual, it's practical, but it's giving you the kind of mindset. And I'm going to try to put a little bit of that in practice, show you how the rubber meets the road. Would that be okay with you guys? I did that? How's my audio, by the way? Am I too close, too far? Cool. First of all, so I want to thank you guys all for being here. I really do. Appreciate you guys coming out. It says a lot about your character and your drive, and your goals, and your vision, right? Nick said earlier that you weren't special. I disagree. You are special. So allow me to explain. No, his reference. He doesn't love you like I do, okay? You're special. What I mean by that is seriously, the fact that you guys are here from across the country, right? It's a Saturday. You're not at home watching TV. You're here trying to grow and further your vision for yourself and your future, your families, your kids, your lineages, right?
And the people on the live stream too.
Yeah, and I know that because just like Nick alluded to when you guys all gave that answer, I speak with thousands and I've spoken with more businesses than anybody I've ever met, right? And I'll tell you why. I'll give you my little quick background. I'll try not to go too deep in it, but they all say the same thing. It's my exact same thing, right? That's why we do what we do. We want more control over our freedom, our time. We want to position ourselves and our families in a far better place. Father time waits for no man or woman, right? What happens when we're gone? How have we positioned our family? That's why we're here. So the fact that you guys are all here, you've taken that step, you're serious, you're dedicated, you put your time, energy, effort, and money behind that, says a lot about the people and the character that you have. So I commend you and I appreciate you. And I'd like, if you would, give yourself a round of applause. I mean it. So, Josh, when he said I was going to speak today, I said, Josh, what do you want me to talk about? I can talk about anything and everything, and I can fill 3 days by myself. What do you want me to say? He goes, you know what I'd like for you to talk about? He says, I'd like for you to talk about rapport building. He's like, you know what, Dion, I want to tell you something. He says, I don't know what it is about you, but when I first met you, I just liked you. You're just like a likable dude, right? Everybody might not feel that way. I'm kind of a A-type person, right? I'm over the top, and that doesn't convey well with some people. I get that. Not for everybody. I know that, right? But I do have some likable traits, and thank you, Josh, for that. But I think really what that comes down to is that I've got a lot of experience, and I've learned to be kind of a chameleon. I've learned to adapt in the audiences that I'm around. So I try to be genuine, I try to be authentic, I try to be myself, and I think those things resonate. So maybe that's some of that likability. But one of my core competencies is rapport building. Right? I'm really good at building relationships, long-lasting, valuable relationships. And that's how I've had successful businesses. So a little bit about myself. I won't tell you everything, because if I did, you'd never believe me anyway. It would sound like 5 people's lives and 3 books that I've read crammed together. And it would just be too much. And I don't have enough time, right? So I'll give you cliff notes. Been in sales and marketing 25 years, 45 now. When I was 19, I worked my way up in a phone room to the manager, and I grew that place from 20 people on the phone to 150 people on the phone. 1993 or 8. I don't know, I have to go back and look. I got a W-2, I made $145,000 that year. I was 19 years old. And I was just coming from the phone. So a lot of what my core skill set where I came from was being a good speaker, right? Being able to convince or communicate or convey the value exchange, the value proposition, right? Here's what we have, here's how it benefits you, and here's why I think it's a good fit for you. And I've made an entire career based on being able to convey that simplistic concept. Here's what we do, here's the value that it brings for you, and here's how I think you benefit from it. Does that resonate with anybody? You guys with me so far? All right. So everything that I do, from I was raised by a single mother in Southeast Texas, right on the Louisiana border. They call it Cajun or Coon-ass. Anybody that's familiar with that neck of the woods? I still say yes, sir. I still say no, ma'am. I still open the doors for ladies. I still look you in the eye when I'm speaking, or when you're speaking. I still shake hands, give you a good grip, right? For me, that's all I know. If we didn't do that, we got a back end of the mouth, right? That's why my lips are so big. They use that small lips. They eat enough back ends, right? But the reality is that what's commonplace and core for me isn't necessarily second nature for everybody else, right? It's just what I do because that's just how I was raised. But I'm going to tell you, it resonates with people. People pick up on it. They notice it. I can't tell you how many comments I've had. Just my manners, right? Just mannerisms. Small, simple things will help you position yourself and build rapport with your clients. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk to you guys about, okay? Rapport building. So for me, high-level cliff notes. I used to own a magazine, 6 years. We did 50,000 copies every month. It was distributed in every health and fitness location in the state of Florida. I was a co-host on a nationally syndicated television show for 3 years on CBS TV, syndicated through the nation. I owned, hosted, and produced a radio show on FM radio here in the Tampa Bay area for 2.5 years. And what I learned from those, I'm not telling you those things to brag or boast. I want you to know that everything that I tell you, these are things that I've learned from my own experiences, with my own money, my own time, my own skin in the game. All right? I didn't read this in a book. I didn't go to some webinar. These are the things, the painful lessons that I've learned in my own experiences. That's what I want to share with you. Like the real behind the scenes, pull back the curtain, behind the Wizard of Oz, and show you what's going on. Okay? So, rapport building is an art. But at the end of the day, it's really just some small, simple things. Right? One thing that has allowed me to be really good, a high-level communicator, besides being a good listener, and I'll talk about that, is really understanding that at the core, all humans are the same. We all have the same wants, we all have the same needs, the same desires, right? And if you understand that, and you know yourself, then you know everybody else. Think about what I just said. If you know yourself, you know everybody else. Right? You're a business owner. What do you want? Sir, what do you want out of your business? What's your name?
Ron.
Ron.
Yeah.
What's up, man? What do you want out of your business? What's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do over there?
I think everybody's kind of said the same thing, but freedom.
I want to be able to help business owners grow their businesses. It's kind of like a video game for me, you know. I push a button, I see their business grow. So,
Yeah.
and then just really wanting to be able to just have a lifestyle business more than I don't need a $50 million a year business or anything like that, but more of a lifestyle.
So another thing I'm really good at is reading between the lines and hearing the things that they didn't necessarily say. So allow me to regurgitate what I thought that I heard you say. What I thought that I heard you say is that you want more control over your time and you don't want to own a job. You want to become a real business owner. Would that be a fair assessment?
That's right.
Yeah. That's the exact same reason everybody else started a business. Exactly. Everyone. Anybody here that didn't start something in line with that? Raise your hand. I'd love to hear it. Everybody's the same, right? So when you're communicating with these business owners, you already know what they want. It's not a secret. You already know what they want. It's the same thing that you want. So now how do you get them what they want? That's where the rubber hits the road, right? All right. So rapport building. I'm going to tell you, rapport building starts at the first point of contact. The very first point of contact. The person who answers the phone, right? It's very easy to marginalize the person who's on the phone to trying to get to the gatekeeper, the decision maker, right? When people, and I know some of you guys might not even be making phone calls at this point, but I'm going to share with you, in the 25 years that I've been in business, the majority of the money that I've made came from picking up the telephone, engaging people in conversations, right? Yes?
So Dion, as the CEO of your business, do you have to actually pick up the 900-pound telephone and cold call still?
So I actually still reach out. It's a game to me. I love it. It's the thrill of the hunt. I'm excited. I'm a freak of nature, right? Everybody's not me. It's true. I love it. I see a business, an advertisement, a billboard, something's going on like that. I go after them and go, because my mind's racing. I'm looking at their strategy, and as soon as I see the chink in their armor, I want to call them and tell them about it. I don't even try to charge them for it. I'm like, hey, listen, you guys are doing this, and why aren't you doing that? What are you thinking? What's going on over there? Who's running things? What are you doing? Right? I'm just saying, like, yeah, so yes, I actually still pick up the phone, and I land big-ass deals. $10,000, $20,000 a month just for my consultation and time and my wisdom and my insight and my guidance. Nick said, I've got clients that are Josh, you actually mentioned that. Like, I got a client, I was sharing a story, we were over at the AGS house preparing for the event, and I was telling the story. Like, one of my clients, they've been clients with me, it's a husband and wife team. I think the only reason they keep me around, other than I make them a whole bunch of money, right? I'm kind of their marriage counselor, right? The husband and wife, the wife's like, we do a group call once a week. And then after that group call, one of them calls me from their cell phone. I talk to them for 20, 30 minutes. And then as soon as we hang up, the other one calls me, right? And I think if they're probably worried that if they let me go, their marriage would fall apart. And I'm giving them life advice. Well, hey, I've been in those shoes. Let me share with you some feedback on when I was in that kind of a situation. Here's what I did, and here's how that worked out or didn't work out for me. I can't tell you what to do. I can only share with you what I know. Did you hear how I frame that? Right? We call that authenticity. Right? Being authentic. Being genuine. Being real. You want to build rapport? Don't be a robot. Be a real person. Be yourself. I'm a goofy ass dude. I've been through all kind of crazy stuff. If you met me out of here, trust me, man, I'm fun. I may not look like it. I'm a lot of fun, man. It's true. It's because I have a lifetime of experiences to pull from. Right? No one in here is going to. Nothing you can say or do would shock me. If every one of you jumped up on the tables and started dancing, kicking shit, I wouldn't be shocked. I've seen too much. I'm jaded. Right? So for me, that's one of my advantages. Right? That's why I don't care about getting no's. Right? Plus, I come from being on the phone, like Nick says. Right? I moved from Texas when I was young. Got out here, I was out there, it's nothing but hard work out there. I worked in the oil fields, I was a hydroblaster, all manual labor construction work, that's all the time. Moved out here when I was 17. I realized that people were paying out here at the time $10 an hour to sit on my butt in an air-conditioned building and talk on the telephone. I was making $8 an hour to be a hydroblaster in a 110-degree chemical plant with 300 pounds of gear on. And wearing a gas mask that if I pulled it off, I could probably die from chemical exposure. And happily to get that overtime, because that's where I made my money, right? Yep, I'm a high school dropout, so I was working at 17. Never went to college, right? Again, if I shared my story with you, you wouldn't believe it. No one in here can tell me a sob story. Like, your sob story is a joke. And I'm not trying to marginalize you, but I'm telling you, pull me to the side, we'll go have some coffee, we'll go to dinner after this, I'd be happy to share it with any of you. You'd never believe the shit that I've been through. The pit that I pulled myself out of. And it's only by sheer willpower. That's it. I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose. I wake up every morning ready to kick life's ass. I do it. Right? Mentality is a big part of this. And that's not in my little bullet points here, but it's mentality. Winning, being a winner. Who in here who's had a taste for winning before, right? You get a little taste of it. It's addictive. It's the most addictive drug in the world, winning. You want more of it. How can I get more of that? I want to win. I'm to the point that's all I know. That's all I know. I don't know how to lose. Right? I know how to fail, but it's never a failure. I've learned something, and I'll adapt, and I'm going to come back twice. I'm the kid in class. If you kick my ass, believe me, we're going to fight tomorrow. And we're going to fight the next day. And we're going to fight until I kick your ass or you get tired of kicking mine. Because I'm not going to give up. I don't quit. There's no quitting. And I'm telling you, if you can't muster some kind of determination in yourself in alignment with what I just said, you're probably not going to be a good business owner. And that's a reality. Because life is going to kick your ass. I don't care how good you are. It's how do you adapt? How do you respond? How do you respond? Everybody in here's got their story, right? None of us had an easy life. We all have our own stories. We've all been through pain. We've all had our challenges. We've all had to overcome adversity. How did you respond? What did you do after you got your ass kicked? That's what makes a person. That's what judges you. That's what your character is about. What do you do after that? You lay there and you take it? You wallow in your own misery? Or do you pick your ass up and do it again? You're going to find out you need to do a lot of that. Okay? So, one of the things that is important, oh yeah, I want to go back to this. First point of contact, rapport building. Okay? Don't marginalize the gatekeeper if you are making phone calls, right? And you should be. Everybody in here should be. Anybody that raise your hand if you've spoken with me on the phone before. Half the room. Okay. I probably told most of you to make phone calls, right? Yeah. Right. The reason is because it doesn't matter how someone. Now, the reason I got good at the internet, I'll go back to that. How I got good at being internet marketing is because all of those other businesses that I did, right? The magazine, the television, the radio, it was all sales based. I sold advertisement. That's how those businesses were sustained. Sold ads in the magazine, ads on the radio, ads on the TV show. I was a fight promoter. I had a clothing line. We sold ads on the cage. I'd have guys shave your name in their head for the fight, if you paid enough, right? Advertising. And what I learned through all of those businesses and my own experience is that what I found when working with those clients is that it didn't matter where someone heard about your business, whether it was online, whether they saw a Google ad, whether it was on a billboard, a bus stop, a business card, a word of mouth referral, a magazine, they heard you on the radio. In this day and age in technology, we all got our little phones and our computers out, right? All roads lead back to your online presence. That's the reality, right? So when I was selling ads in the magazine, we had to start looking at, well, what is the call to action? What are we telling them to do? Are we telling them to call you? Are we telling them to go to your website? Like just common sense, practical stuff, right? Nothing genius. Like, okay, we're running an ad. What are we telling them to do? What's the call to action? Go to the website. When you go to the website, well, you're not telling them to do anything there. What are you telling them to do there? Right? How does that? What's that experience like? What's that process like? What are you instructing your prospects to do? How are you collecting their information? There's a whole process and a mentality that I don't have time to break all down for you right now, but I'm sure we'll do it on one of our calls. But at the end of the day, same thing with the radio, same thing with the print, right? All roads lead to their online presence. So I realized very early on that I needed to get really good at that and fast. And I taught myself and spent a ton of time, energy, effort, and money to get really, 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 really good at it. That's who I am, right? I'm all in. I'm ravenous. I'm a kind of an OCD personality. So if I get locked in on something, it's like I'm like a pit bull. I just don't let it go. So I picked to get good at that because I want to provide value to all of those clients that I was selling advertising to. So we started working with them all online, and then that turned into me creating my own agency because we got really good at it. We were delivering excellent results. So I said, you know what? Actually, I went through a horrible divorce of 10 years. Took 8 months off out of my life, like just wallowed around in my own misery. I can tell you not to do. I've been there, done that, I know that, right? Couldn't eat, didn't shower, didn't shave, you're lucky if I opened my eyes and spoke to you. And one of the relationships I had, basically, I was over at his house and he said, hey, dude, you're really good at this thing right here. Why don't you just go and do that? Because I was doing all those things sometimes simultaneously. I had a radio show going, a TV show going. Like there wasn't a platform you couldn't find in this Tampa Bay area and not hear or see my face and voice. I was that prolific. But I was burnt out, failed marriage, all those things, the weight of the world kind of crushed me for a little bit, right? After that 8-month period, I got some clarity from a good friend, right? Sometimes we need outside perspective to help give us direction, guidance, even me, right? Everybody. And I realized, hey, you're right. I am good at that. We do excellent results. So I started socializing media, right? So that's kind of how I got here, and that's why I wanted to tell you that. And that's why all roads lead back to the online presence. But I wanted to let you know that first point of contact, if you are calling, is important. We call it the gatekeeper, right? You have to understand, put yourself in that person's position, right? They're an administrative person. They're probably responsible for, you think of a gear box. Anybody understand a gearbox? Like there's a big gear and then there's all the little gears that come off that to push other gears. Believe it or not, that big gear, the gearbox, that's the person who's answering the phone. They're the filter mechanism, right? Their job is to listen to what you're calling about and then try to direct you to the right person that handles that. And oftentimes they do a lot of the back end things in the business, right? The payroll, human resource, like that person is often multi-tasked, many-hatted person that carries a lot of weight. Most people have a bad tendency of marginalizing that person. Like, hey, I need to speak to whoever, like you want to call, like, hello, I'd like to speak to whoever handles your marketing over there. You never want to sound like that, because that's next to where I talk about tone, voice, tonality. Yeah, who is this? Hi, my name's Dion. I'm calling from Social Live Media. I'm trying to reach the person who handles the marketing. Well, what do you need? Right? I'm just trying to reach the person who handles the marketing. Right? That's a typical salesman. They don't want to tell. It's the game, right? They don't want to tell them anything. They just want to get the person on the phone. And anybody ever experienced anything like that in your calls, where you're just trying to get past the gatekeeper? Am I talking? Does this resonate with anybody? Okay, good. Some hands. Well, that's the worst thing you can do. First of all, from a rapport and a character point of view, you should treat everybody the same. I treat the plumber and the president the exact same. I treat the plumber and the president the exact same. Secretary's no different. She deserves my respect. She may have been there 20 years. Right? She's probably the backbone of that institution. So rapport starts at the first point of contact. And I'm going to tell you something. You'd be surprised how many times that person that's answering the phone, believe it or not, could be the owner. They don't tell you. You know how many times I play owner? I play Joe Secretary when people call my business? That's a game to me. I like to pick up the man. No, okay, I got it. Hello? Hi, Social Media, how can I help you? And I listen to their spiel. Because I'm the phone guy. I like to hear their spiel. I like to hear what's going on. What's fresh in the market? Talk to me, baby. What do you got? Like, they don't realize they just walked into like a land mine, right? They have no idea what they just walked into. But I let them pitch me. I talk to them. At the end, I never buy unless it's something worthy. But I usually do a little critique. Hey, that was good. You had me there. You lost me a little bit when you said that. What you should have done is, like, I'll just give them some good. Now go get another one. Good job. Go get them, buddy. Right? That's what I do.
Who believes he does that?
Oh, I believe it. That's fun. That's a good time Friday afternoon for me. But you never know who's on that phone, right? So never marginalize them. Treat them with respect. What I've found in my own experiences in calling is oftentimes giving that person more information than they probably need to know can sometimes make them your biggest asset in that prospecting phase, right? I'll tell them a little bit of information and I'll give them some value, like, hey, we work with businesses just like yours to help them do more with less energy and effort. Like, let me ask you, Sally, are you doing any like social media campaigns, email marketing or anything like that? Yeah, we do some of that stuff. Well, who's responsible for that? Oh, I do that. Oh, wow. So basically I'm gonna be your best friend. Right? I'm gonna help you save a ton of energy and effort and you'll actually get home to the kids on time. Now that's what I'm trying to do for your business. So who would I speak with that could kind of put that relationship together? She knows why. There's some key words that you can use in your conversations that will help you build rapport. Okay? Because. That's the word, because. It's a justifier. They did a study. 100 people in line. They said, hey, here's our case study. Go try to cut in line. Don't tell anybody why. Just go, hey, I need to cut in front of you, and try to stand in front of him, right? That worked 25% of the time. No reason, right? Hey, you mind if I cut in front of you? No. You mind if I cut in front of you? No. 25% of the time. They got a yes. They tried it again and said, we're gonna give a reason. It's not gonna be a very good one, right? We're just gonna give some reason. So the next time they did it in another line. Hey, do you mind if I get in front of you? Because I'm running late. That worked 50% of the time. Horrible excuse, because I'm late. So what, buddy? Everybody's late, right? Just by the fact that they used that because, that justifier, doubled their results from 25 to 50%. Now when they had a good excuse, hey, do you mind if I cut in front of you? Because I'm running late, my wife's trying to get home with the kids, and I'm just trying to get this ticket for her, I'm really trying to do a good thing for her. Do you mind if I get in front of you? That worked 85% of the time. Because, right? Giving justification, letting them know why. Hey, I'm reaching all of the local chiropractors here in the area because we're trying to help them grow and scale their business. We're trying to implement some proven strategies and techniques that have been proven to help businesses like yours grow 30 to 50%. So Would it be okay if I speak to the person who handles the marketing? That's going to work more than just like, hey, can I speak to the person who handles the marketing? Right? Because it's justified. Tonality is important, right? I'm going to talk about a few things. Tonality, authenticity, genuineness, confidence, confident competence, talking to them, not talking at them. Katie, you actually touched a little bit on being authentic and genuine, right? And as soon as you said it, I was like, oh man, she's stealing my shit. It's true though. That's why it's like you nailed it. Being authentic and genuine is important, right? People see through the robot. You know how many calls these gatekeepers are getting? Hello, I am trying to call you about the marketing and. When I ran a phone room, right? When I grew that telemarketing room when I was 19, and I brought it from 20 people to 145 people on the phone, 150 people on the phone. One of the things we had to do was systematize things, right? You can't scale without a system. So I was like, well, where's the script, right? Talk about writing a script. I never wrote them a script. I wrote them bullet points. What I have here for you guys, bullet points, right? If I write you a script, it's going to sound like you're reading from a piece of paper. Because you will be, right? So what you need to understand are high-level concepts, right? Here's the process that I'm trying to get through with this person. Here's the goal. If I can accomplish this goal in this conversation, to me, that's a win. Do you guys know what that is? Do you guys know what that win is for you? What is it a win? When you get on the phone, when you talk to people, are you trying to close them? Are you trying to figure out what's going on? Like, what's a win for you? Sir, what's a win for you? Are you doing any phone calls? You doing any phone calls?
Yeah, what is this another conversation, whether it's read my email or meet if they're local, if I can meet with them.
So some engagement. So some interaction and some engagement. Some confirmation that they're responsive, right? That's a win. So are you making phone calls? Who's making phone calls? Raise your hand. What's a win for you?
Having them say that they want to get on the second call to discuss more details.
The next step, the next course of action, right? That's a win. So just understand what your next course of action is, right? What happens in the meantime? What happens in the process, right? I'm trying to explain to them, I'm trying to create in their mind that value exchange. Here's what I want to deliver for you, and here's how that works. Can we have another conversation about that? We've been able to successfully help businesses just like yours. And I'd love to share some strategies that work for some of my other clients with you. If you have some time, would that be okay? Do you have a minute? Right? Tonality. Confidence. You have to have confidence. Just like Nick said, the no game, right? That's old phone room stuff, right? Smile now, pound, like I can give you 1,000 cliches. I said them all, done them all, right? Ultimately, it's really about your confidence level. People do business with people. The reason I'm up here, the reason they want me to talk about this topic is because people do business with people that they know, they like, and they trust. That's it. They do business. You might not even have a good product, but if they like you, shit, I'll buy it just because I like you, kid. I don't need your magazine subscription, but I tell you what, you knocked on my door, you gave a good presentation. I could tell that you're in it for the right reason. Here, sure. Right? I don't eat chocolate, Girl Scout, but I'll buy your box of cookies. I like them. All right? I know, right? Whatever. No, like, and trust. You can use that. The whatever. That's not patented yet. So confidence is going to help you build that. Understand, in this game, you're going to get told no way more times than you get told yes. Just the reality, right? Doesn't matter. If I'm selling let's just take something super small. $2,000 a month. A little small $2,000 a month client, maybe I'm doing reputation and brand management for them. Right? Easy fulfillment, low price point. It only takes me 5 of them to get to 10 grand a month. Which for you, anybody that I'm working with, that's my first goal for you, 10 grand a month, right? That's where you can start to go, wow, the wife's not going to kill me. Wow, the kids aren't going to starve this week. Wow, whatever, right? 10 G's a month, that's the first step it's on. And we'll build and grow and scale from there. That's 5. It's one handful of clients paying you on a consistent basis. If you went all month long. All you did was pound the phone all month long. Didn't do anything else. Nothing else. Forget your calls. I'm not going to. Don't do that. You need those. My point is, if that's all you did, and every single person that you talked to told you no. Say you're doing 150 calls a day, 150 no's a day. If you get 2 of them out of that whole month, two sales, you're up to 4,000 a month. The next month you do 2 more. The next month you do 2 more, so on and so forth. That's not factoring in the fact that you're going to get better. You'll probably close more than 2. Not factoring in that you're going to have some higher price point products, so you'll be able to sell 3 and 5 and 10. I try to keep it small. Undercommit, overproduce, right? That's another report that I'm taking. Never overcommit, never overdeliver. You guys have been on the phone with me. You heard me say, hey, your white label will be up, I've got to tell you, in 48 hours, right? Now, it's probably going to be up tomorrow. But if I tell you tomorrow and it takes 48 hours, I'm an asshole. I'm a liar. If I tell you 48 hours and it happens tomorrow, I'm a hero. Set the right expectation. Don't put yourself in a box. Set realistic expectations, right? Confidence in your voice is what I was getting back to. You're going to take those no's. Don't worry about them. You still have to be confident. If you're not confident when you're telling me that you're going to help my business, why should I be confident that you're really going to be able to do it? If you don't believe you, why should I? Do you hear me? If you don't believe you, why should I? How do you expect me to believe so? Like if somebody came in and said, hey, John, I got this cool stock that I want to share with you, and I think we're really going to make some good money on it, and if you want to try, you could possibly, I heard it's doing okay. You want to give it a try? You want to give it a try? What do you think? You want to sound confident? Hey, John, listen, I got an inside information here from some people that are in the know, and this thing is going to explode. All I need to know is if you want to be a part of it, man. Right? Confident. Tonality, your tone of voice. It's such a huge thing. You ever heard the expression, you can hear a smile over the phone? Have you ever heard that? If not, you've heard it today. It's true. Right? It's true. You can hear a smile over the phone. If you don't feel well, or you're not in your best A game, or you're not on top of your shit over there, I can hear it in your voice when I talk to you. I've talked to people and I'll call them out on it.
Because I'm like that. I'm a weirdo, right?
Like, hey man, like
Right in the middle of a conversation, I'll
stop and be like, hey, is everything okay over there? Because you sound a little off. Because I'm trying to talk to you about helping you grow your business, and it sounds like on the other end, I got a picture of you sitting up with your feet on the desk and counting holes in your ceiling. Are we on the same page? Are you interested in growing your business? Because if not, I don't want to waste your time. I'm only working with a handful of businesses in this niche in this area. I am going to help three chiropractic businesses in the Atlanta area. 3 of them are going to be successful, wildly successful, because we're going to implement proven strategies, techniques to help them win. Now, I'd like for one of them to be you, sir, but you honestly don't sound that interested. And if you're not, that's totally okay. I get that. Just let me know, because I don't want to waste your time. If you've got something more pressing, please let me know, and I'll call the next group. That's called the takeaway. That's also providing scarcity. We're only working with a handful of you guys in this area. If I did it with everybody, it wouldn't be fair. It can't be an unfair advantage if everybody's got it. That works. Golden nuggets. I know it's some goofy stuff I'm saying, but I promise you, anybody taking notes that's writing this stuff down, this will help you. I guarantee you. Genuineness, confidence, those are the things you can't fake. Plus, people see that, right? You never want to call me, hello, I'm trying to reach the people that are handling the marketing. I'm like, hey, listen, my name's Dion I love to let them know that I'm the owner, right? When I make the calls, you talk about like upping your game a little bit. I want them to know I'm not Joe telemarketer in a room of 50 people behind me, all banging out phone calls, right? No. I personally and intimately care, and I'm trying to connect and create some relationships. And I'm saying this slow because I'm using some key words and some NLP here that you don't even realize. And I'll point it out to you in a second. I'm reaching out to a handful of businesses in your area that I would love to work with to help them grow and scale and share with them some success that I've been able to have with other clients across the country. Now, I know I'm catching you off the cuff, so I won't take a lot of your time. I'm just trying to reach the person who's making the decisions over there, who's kind of running your marketing game. Now, I say unconventional terms like that, right? Believe me, I can use corporate boardroom terms, right? But I don't want to sound like that. I want to sound like an average, normal guy. Like, hey, who's running stuff over there? I say that, right? Who's in charge, or who's handling, or who makes the decisions? Who's the authorized? No. Because that's not how I speak naturally. Use my natural speaking patterns, speeching patterns, like that, right? Yeah. Exactly, those things. I use those things. Gideon? No. I could try.
There will be a recording.
Good luck on reading the transcription on that one. Okay. The other thing is talk to them, not at them. You ever heard that? Don't talk at people. Hello, I'd like to tell you something. Basically, you're trying to puke at them. Dump all your information on them. Like, hey, I do this, like Nick says. You sound crazy. Hey, I can do this. You know what I like to tell clients? So they go, you know, because I introduce myself as an online business development or online business consultant. Well, what do? I help businesses grow. Well, what does that mean? Sir, I could tell you, but I don't want to take up 2 hours of your time. The reality is, Mr. Johnson, is we can do everything. The answer is always yes. What do you want us to do? Yes, we can do it. You're always just one check away from making anything that you want come true. We can do it. If we can't do it, I'll find somebody who can. So yes, that's not really the focus of the conversation, nor should it be, Mr. Customer. The reality is what I'm trying to do, what I found that works best when working with clients is I have a process that works, and if you'll allow me to go through this process with you, I believe we can find some commonality in some ways that we might be able to work together to bring you the results for the vision that you're trying to reach. Right? So talking to them and not at them, there's a lot of implications there. I always say to be a good speaker, you have to be an excellent listener. I'm going to say that one again. To be just a good speaker, you have to be an excellent listener. If you're not listening to what they're saying, how the hell do you know what to say back? How do you know what to present to them? How do you know what their problems are? How do you know what their challenges are? Right? That's why in this consultative approach, many of you asked that at the very beginning of the morning, I remember, right? What do you guys want to get out of this? 3 or 4 of you guys all said, I want to learn, I'm excited to learn how this consultative approach works, right? You remember that? I remember it. Right? I was here when you said it. You know what you said. Don't act crazy. Little things like that, by the way, are called pattern interrupts. It gets you in the present, in the now. All day long, you guys have been hearing many amazing speakers. And we all, myself included, and everybody that's spoken to you today, have been using like world-class techniques on you. And you don't even realize it. And sometimes we don't even realize it because we do it so well and so often. It's just an instinct. But I'm gonna take a second and I want to showcase some of them because I want you to understand them and I want you to implement them in what you do. Right? You're hearing some like world-class speaking techniques being used on you right now. Right? So when I just did that, I did that little joke and then I called it out. Like my conscience goes, pattern interrupt, right? That's NLP. It forces you out of your robotic reptilian brain and forces your subconscious to kind of push the conscious mind forward. It brings you to the here and now. And that's where I want you to be. I don't want you to be in robot mode, right? Because robot mode is autopilot. What happens when they're on autopilot? They don't think. They don't make good decisions. Sally's secretary gets 50 calls. You're just another call. She's on robot mode. She's on autopilot. She's not listening to you. She's still typing the email that she was typing when the phone rang. She's not listening to you. So how do you force her out of the reptilian brain into the here and now? Small little goofy ass things like pattern interrupts. Hey, how's the weather out there?
Oh, it's cold.
Like cold, or like parka boots and like Ugg boots and parkas and North Face jackets cold, or is it just like a little bit cold? Just stupid stuff, right? I'm just trying to get her to talk. I'm trying to get her into the here and now. right? Goofy little small thing. And everybody's personality is not like that. I get it. I'm just trying to share with you a concept. There's ways that you can find a way to achieve that same result with your own personality. All right? Asking questions, the right questions, and open them up and get them talking. And the consultative approach, asking questions, I love that. It's called the Socratic method. Has anybody ever heard the Socratic method before? You know where it comes from? Anybody know where it comes from? Well, duh. But do you know why?
I just have a photograph memory.
No? So, Socrates was famous. He was a famous intellectual. He was a thinker. He was one of the greatest of his time. And his style was to not speak in certainties, right? The grass is green, the sky is blue, you must all believe me, right? His style was to ask questions. He asked questions to engage your thought process, to get you to think, to make you think. Something so simple. Everybody's, well, I always think. No, we hardly ever think. We never think. We act. We react. Like Josh said, right? We don't think, we react. There's a difference. Do you understand that difference? Don't be checking your watch out. I'll keep you here all day. We react. We don't think, right? So asking questions forces people to think, which is something they don't do. That's why it's so powerful. That's why the Socratic method is so powerful, especially in the sales process. You're asking questions, actually forcing them to think. And if you ask the right questions will lead you to the answers that you need to provide at the end of that process. The goal is to provide an ironclad case why you are the only logical solution. You appeal to their intellect and their emotion. I'm going to say it again. Ironclad case to appeal to their intellect and their emotion. Do people make decisions based on their mind or their heart? Who thinks it's their mind? Raise your hand if you think it's the mind. Smart crowd. You think it's the heart? Right. It's a combination of the two.
They justify with their mind, they make decisions with their heart.
Oh, hold on.
Say that again.
They justify with their mind, but they make their decision with their heart.
Winner, chicken dinner. Boom.
Right? So in order to get them to that point of conversion, to lower their action threshold so that they will convert and become a client and give you the chance that you're asking them for, right? To lower that action threshold, you have to make an emotional and a logical case. And that's how it's an ironclad case where you're the only logical solution, right? To get to that emotional side, you've got to open them up. You've got to find out what makes them tick. You've got to get them talking, right? And that's why rapport is so important, because if you're Joe Shit, the telemarketer, do you think they're going to share anything with you? No, they're trying to blow you off. They're trying to get back to the email. So we're trying to build a rapport because ultimately I need them to open up to me. I need them to talk to me. Right? It's like going to the doctor, but it's like the dentist is the doctor. You got to pull the teeth first, right? It's like pulling teeth, getting them to talk to you. So I want to share with you some strategies on how you get people to open up. Asking questions is one of them. Asking the right questions. Okay? And the other thing I put down, which I just kind of covered with you, right, is taking notes. You have to take, I'm getting the 5-minute mark. I got about 15 minutes more worth of content. Anybody care if I go over? You want me to hard stop and just save these other diamonds for somebody else some other day? Or would you like me to continue for about 10 minutes over? Would that be okay with you? You got to ask the right questions. Would that be okay with you? I'm doing it, and I'm teaching it. And I'm going to show you that right here. Rubber meets the road, guys. All right? So if you'll allow me, I'll try to wrap it up as quickly as I can, right? So asking the right questions, taking excellent notes, right? If they're talking and you're not taking notes, then you're like, what are you doing? Because they're going to tell you what you need to know to be able to convert that client. They're going to give you if you ask the right questions, or even close, they're going to give you the information you need to be able to put together the right package, the right strategy, say the right things when it comes time for him to sign that contract. They're giving you gold when they're speaking. Write everything down. Some things you might not even think are important are highly important. Highly important. And you'll realize that later in the conversation. But if you didn't write it down, it would be no good to you. Take excellent notes. I can't stress that enough. You hear me banging away on my keyboard on all of our calls, right? I know I've got stacks and stacks and stacks of notes. Every book I've read, every audio book, I take notes on everything. Because that's how nothing slips between the cracks. You write it down. You bring it from the ethereal to the physical. Rubber hits the road. You put it on paper, type it into a text box, right? So, take excellent notes. Good speakers, I already said that. Opening up tactic. Here we go. Every speaker here employed this tactic against you. How do you build relationships? How do you build rapport? How do you connect with people? You know what a great way it is? Share your story. Share any story. Share with them. It's called reciprocity. If I open up and share a little bit with you, you're more likely to share back with me, right? So I don't want to make it a one-sided thing, right? It's not like I'm taking an order. Okay, and what else? You need website, okay, and you need fries with that, okay, and a double shake, okay, pull around, I'll get your... No, there has to be some interaction, right? So, getting them to open up, sharing a story, maybe it's a success story. Maybe it's a self-effacing story, right? Anybody know what that term is, self-effacing? It's basically you're sharing a story that doesn't necessarily show you in the best light. Hey, Mr. Customer, tell me about if you had, Mr. Client, if you had a magic button, I say this all the time, I love this one, Mr. Client. And the other thing is, first of all, even though I'm very respectful and mannerful, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, I never call them by Mr. Johnson or Mr. anything, never. It's always their first name, always. You know why? I want them to know that I'm their equal. I'm not their employee. You're not gonna horsewhip and buggy me, right? I'm a business owner too. That's from the very beginning of the relationship. I'm positioning myself. I never call them Mr. Johnson. That's what their employees can do. I'm your consultant. I'm here to help you. But I own my own business too, John. That's a little gem. Take it for what it's worth. But sharing a self-effacing story, right? Hey, John, if you had a magic button in front of you, what problem would you solve in your business? Well, I tell you, if I could, as a plumber, our biggest challenge is getting enough trucks on the road. And oh, okay, so you're saying that it's hard to scale, right? You've got something good right now, and you're having a hard time scaling. Yeah, that's kind of my problem. John, would it be okay if I share one of my stories with you about how, when I was growing my agency, I had some challenges? Sure, that'd be okay, great. So when I was growing my agency, we got to a place and blah, 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 right? I told them about how, and it didn't work out for me, and we failed miserably, John. But you know what? I learned something that day, John, and here's what I learned. And guess what? You don't have to make that same bad decision. You don't have to fail like I did, John. I've already done that for you. Let me show you the right way. Do you think I built some rapport with him by sharing that story? Do you think we've gotten some commonality at that point? I opened up to him. I told him, hey, John, I didn't always win. I failed too. I failed big and miserable. And I've learned a lot of great lessons about those failures. That's what I want to share with you. I want to help you overcome those challenges without having to make the same mistakes that I made. Everybody in here, Nick, told you about his self-effacing story, right? How he was crying on in the bathroom, right? That's a self-effacing story that built some relationship equity with you guys. You opened up. You know a little bit more about Nick. You feel closer, a better connection. That's how you build relationships, okay? Micro confirmations in the conversation. Everybody's done that. Katie, you're kind of like me, right? You guys go, you understand that? You guys get that? Right? Right? You guys say, I use that word right a lot. Right? So micro confirmation. I'm getting you in the habit and creating a pattern of you saying right and yes. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand? Does that make sense, John? Do you understand that? No, that's the other one. Right? I use that all the time. I always ask for permission before I transition. Why? There's 1,000 reasons why. Just know that it works. I can tell you why. Asking for permission, right? It's freeing for them, right? Plus, it also gets them to lower their barriers. They've now handed the reins over to you, giving you permission. Here you go. John, would it be okay if I were to ask you some questions about your business? So that is in place of because, right? It's my justifier. So that I can learn more about you and who you are and what your challenges are, and see if there's a good fit for what we do and what ails you. I want to know if I can help you. Would it be okay if I asked you some questions? Would that be okay with you? Yes. Does everybody here get that? Gotcha. Right. Just saying. It's practical, but it's also, there's a strategy behind it, right? Just small micro confirmations along the way. If you've ever been to any of these seminars, any of these events, you ever seen the big crazy ones, Tony Robbins? They're all, everybody stand up and jump around and hug your neighbor and woo, snap high five and all that, right? It's psychologically it's the same. It accomplishes the same thing, right? They're trying to get that engagement from you, right? They're just trying. When I'm on the phone, I do that a lot of times with the client just to keep them engaged. I don't want it to be one-sided, right? I always want to retain control of the conversation. Even though I'm asking for permission, that's still me controlling that aspect of the conversation, right? Because in my mind, I've got a path where I'm taking him. I understand my sales process. It's clear in my mind. I know what happens next. I know what the call is about. I know what I'm trying to accomplish. I know what the next step is. I know what the anchor is for the next call. I know what I'm going to do after that. It's a path. The sales process is a path, right? And every one of those little breakpoints in the path, those are stages in my CRM. In my CRM where I store my leads, I move my prospects along that path of my sales process, so I know exactly where they're at in my sales funnel. That's why I can, if somebody came to me and said, Dion, don't know what happened to the money in the bank, but it's all gone, and you got a $20,000 bill that's due today, I am confident I can make that happen. Because I can go in my CRM, I know where everybody's at, I can go to the right stage, okay, these people are at this point in my process, very close to the action threshold, and if I just spent a little more time with them, gave them a little more value, right? It's a scale, value proposition. Once they feel like the value is in their favor, they'll take action. That's why a lot of times in the calls, I share things with them before they've ever decided to do any business with me. I'll give them free stuff all the time, free nuggets. Hey, did you ever think about doing this? I had another client who was doing this. They were kind of doing the same thing you were doing, and here's what we did with them that allowed them to get an extra $10,000 a month in revenue. We did this, we did that, and we did that. I go, wow, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, it worked for those guys. I believe it probably worked for you. So I've already given him an idea whether he picks up the phone the next time I call him or not. He knows, A, I know my shit. B, I can be of value. It's probably worth talking to me again. Right? I'm not trying to charge him for that. I'm giving value. Give value. So that's going to take us to the next phase. And the last thing I'm going to say before I wrap up. Nick, you talked about this earlier. You referenced value, right? How it's not just a time for money. Right? 2 more minutes, guys. I'm almost done. Hang in there with me. You can do it. I believe in you. All right? I'm giving gold, man. Anybody feel that I'm giving some value here today? Or we're talking about value? Did you get anything from what I'm saying so far? So I want to leave you with this little gem. Right? Everything else has been gold. This is a little diamond. This close to the front pocket stuff here, right? You talked about providing value, being creative in the way that you provide value. It's not always transactional. Value is not always transactional. You believe that? There's a lot of ways to give value and to be valuable to the people who work with you. It was you, sir, right? You said you had a solar repair. We were on break. We were talking about your client. You said they were in solar repair. Solar panels. They're in green energy, right? So me, being the freak that I am, I instantly go into I'm their consultant mindset. Because that's all it's just natural for me. I've been doing this so long, right? And I said, you know what? He was telling me, he was just talking, he was spitting out numbers. He was like, yeah, they bring in 100, what was the number? 100 and,
this month they had like 100 and,
they had like 150, 160 leads.
yeah, something like that.
And my next question, because I asked good questions to get the right answers, my next question was, out of those leads, how many did they convert? You said?
It was like 6.
You said 6 out of 150 leads. You know what I told him instantly? You want to provide value to that client? Because it's financing, right? They do financing.
Yeah, they do finance.
Yeah, and only 7 out of those 150 got approved for financing. I said, you know what? I work with a lot of credit repair companies. We could create a relationship for them that would serve 2 companies. You want to make 2 businesses happy? Create the relationship, right? hey, let's get them set up with a credit repair company. It doesn't cost the solar repair company, the solar panel company, a dime. All they do is those 153 leads that you've already spent money on to get them in your funnel, that you've already invested the time with to try to qualify and find out that they're not a good fit because they couldn't meet the credit criteria. You could take them, pass them to a credit repair company. That credit repair company would work on their credit. They charge the client, they charge the customer, right? The end user. So there's no cost to either business for this relationship, right? They would fix their credit and work on the credit. What do they need to be qualified?
650.
650. We're going to work on their credit, and the second that their score hits a 650, we're going to send you an email and let you know that this guy is a qualified buyer now. Call him back. Close him. So I don't know the percentages, and I'm pretty good on math, but that's a big-ass percentage, 153 leads out of 160. If you can just take half of them in 30, 60, 90 days and put them back in their sales pipeline as a qualified buyer, do you think that brought value to their business? What do you think that would do to their business? Just that one thing alone. And they didn't have to spend a dime. All I did was make the connection. And if I didn't have a credit repair company, you better believe I'd still sell them the idea. And as soon as I got off the phone with them, I'd be calling me some credit repair companies. Hey, do you want to grow your business? What if I could send you 130 leads a month? And you didn't have, if I could send you 100, and I'd charge them, right? Hey, I'm going to send you 100. Why would I not? That's what I hear. That's what I do, right? Because they're not paying me for my time. They're not paying me for my time. It's not a time exchange. I'm not exchanging it took me a lifetime to be able to think like this and put shit like that together in my head, right? You're paying for that. A lifetime of experience and pain, like everything that I've been through to get to the point where I'm at to be able to think and put that together. You're in the business and you didn't think about it. I looked at it for 5 seconds and thought, right? That's what he's paying for. That's the value. That's me providing value, right? I go get a credit repair company. Hey, I can send you 100 leads a month. What's that worth to you? Qualified. People that just applied for credit. You deal with credit repair clients too, so do I. What's that worth to them? 100 leads a month.
Depending on their configuration, anywhere from $350 a client to $1,200 a client. Boom.
So if I charge them $2,000 a month to give them 100 leads, you think he's going to jump all over that like a sneak on shit? Yes, sir.
The best part is you didn't have to actually
I did nothing.
just transfer.
I made the relay. I connected 2 dots, and I'm the intermediary.
Yeah, the other thing you guys got to remember is that credit repair is a very boring thing to buy. Nobody buys credit repair, right? They buy the solution to a problem.
Yeah, nobody needs credit repair. They just want their credit fixed.
You're running around trying to find like how to get them leads, and those leads need to have a problem. Or you can take them from a client that's got turndowns, which means they just had the problem that they would buy, right? They're not buying credit repair, they're buying, I want that loan I can't get.
So, Mr. Solar Panel Company, if I were to connect with one of my relationships, even if you don't have it, right? You can go get one. I guarantee you. If you're about to walk into a starving village with a bag full of steaks, you'll get a client. Mr. Solar Panel, if I were able to take, at least half, let's just say it's half of those 53 people that you're throwing in the trash, that you've already spent the money to get in your sales pipeline. You guys have already talked to them. Your accounting people have already pulled their credit to find that they're not qualified. If I could put them back in your sales funnel in 30, 60, 90 days as a qualified buyer and let you know the second that they qualify, would that be some value? Would you consider that being a value to your business? Do you think I'd help you? Do you think your business would grow?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So
I mean,
now,
that any niche too. I mean, really, like anybody that does the financing, so that's the thing.
but I just wanted to magnify that. Like that was a break conversation when we came in saying, hey, if you weren't out there, you missed that little gem. Like that happened in a fraction of a second. He told me what the problem was. I was like, solution here, boom, 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 boom. That's how value is not always a product or a service. Sometimes it's just your creative thinking and being able to look at the business and do what makes sense, what's going to add value, which for the business owner, more control of the time, more leads, more money, those are all the valuable things. So I just wanted to share that little story with you to show you that really being valuable, right, is more than just selling a product. It's really like get your head in their business, find solutions that make sense, just solve problems for them. Sometimes it's, hey, one client pays me $2,000 a month for the first 3 months. You know what I did? I just went through all their crap and figured out what they were spending thousands on stuff they didn't use, didn't need, didn't know how to implement, nothing. So turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. This does that, turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. Let's use this here. That's $6,000 I made. Just help them do that in 3 months. I didn't sell them anything other than just more bandwidth to spend a little time and going through their shit. It's value. It's valuable. Thank you so much for today, guys. Thank you for letting me in. I'm getting the drink.